How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another Jedi Survivor video. Now, there is a lot of new information to go over in today's video since the review embargo lifted today, and every content creator that got their hands on the game early has posted their reviews on it. So in today's video, I'm going to be going over all of the different reviews, and I'm going to be giving you guys both the pros and the cons that everyone is talking about with Jedi Survivor. But before we jump into it, I just wanted to remind you guys that I am doing a Star Wars Jedi Survivor giveaway. All you have to do is be a subscriber of the channel, leave a comment letting me know what you're most excited for Jedi Survivor, and then follow the link in the description down below. And good luck to everyone that enters. So jumping right into things, there is a lot of positive things that people had to say about Jedi Survivor. Basically, everything you might have liked or disliked about Jedi Fallen Order has been approved upon for Jedi Survivor. I've watched probably 10 plus review videos now. I've read different review articles from major gaming outlets such as IGN and Games Radar, and pretty much every single review across the board seems to agree that Jedi Survivor is just a really great Star Wars game. But there is one major downside that I wanted to talk about that every single reviewer touched up upon. Every single review seems to agree that this is the one major flaw, and it's that Jedi Survivor has some really bad performance issues. Every single review video I watched only had one complaint, and it was the performance. For example, we have Paul Tassi, who writes reviews for Forbes. He says, I did end up getting a review copy for Jedi Survivor, but after playing the first level, I'm restarting after launch. This game is definitely meant to be played on console/controller. He says, I ran into some tech issues, namely cutscene voice desync, which was really bad for following the plot. There was a chance my save could get lost during the transfer to the retail version, as there's a day zero patch, and I had to play entirely offline to prevent that. Still risky. So he had a number of different technical issues. Then we have Yong Ya. He said, going through Star Wars Jedi Survivor, but long story short, across the board, bigger and better than the first game. The only reason I'd hold out on getting this at launch day is the performance issues / inconsistent frame rate / stutters I've been experiencing on PC and even the PS5. Then some different YouTubers that reviewed the game, such as Sammy Boy, Aussie Jedi, and Azatru. All three of them said that there was performance issues. Azatru played on PC, and he seemed to have had the worst of it. Now, he has a pretty beefy PC, so it should be able to handle the game, but he said there was tons of stuttering and frame rate loss and just tons of performance issues on PC. So I would imagine if you have a lower end PC and you're trying to play on the just bare minimum specs, you're probably going to run into a lot of problems when you're playing Jedi Survivor. And then the Aussie Jedi and Sammy Boy both played on console, and they both said that they ran into some performance issues. They both said that it wasn't anything too crazy and it didn't deter them from playing the game, and it's not so bad that the game is unplayable, but there are some different times when you're loading in a lot of different assets all at once that the game will kind of freeze and stutter.
So I'll touch on the frame rate thing first, as that's the main negative I have about Survivor: performance. I did get hit with some pretty noticeable frame rate drops, but it is worth highlighting that I did play a pre-release build of the game and these were known issues.
And performance was just bad, like really bad. It would be 10 to 50 FPS most of the time, despite being low and medium settings on a 3080 and a 5900X.
There definitely were some frame drops, mostly in areas where you're sort of rendering a lot of terrain, or maybe there's a heap of enemies and a lot of detail in the buildings, for example. There definitely are some frame drops in there, so be prepared for that. It was never anything that's like unplayable. It was mostly like if the game's playing at 60 frames, it would sometimes feel like it drops to about 40 frames a second or something.
So it's pretty clear across the board that everyone that got to play Jedi Survivor early did experience a lot of frame rate loss and stutters. But do keep in mind they have all been playing a pre-release version of the game. In fact, EA Star Wars tweeted out earlier today, they said Cal's newest journey in the galaxy far, far away has begun, and we're excited for you to experience it. Our first patch will arrive on launch day across all platforms. In the weeks ahead, we'll deploy patches that will fix bugs, improve performance, and add accessibility features. Stay tuned for more updates. So they do plan on having a big day one patch that's going to fix a lot of issues. So do keep in mind that even though a lot of you have already gone ahead and pre-downloaded the game, there is still probably going to be this huge big patch, and it's going to take some time to download it. So hopefully this patch will go out and people can start to download it before the game officially launches. Now, I do have to say that I'm going to be a little cautious here. A lot of companies claim that there's going to be a day one patch and they're going to fix a lot of issues, and that's not always the case, especially looking back to games like Cyberpunk. And with Jedi Fallen Order, there was still a lot of frame rate issues. I just replayed Jedi Fallen Order on Twitch this week, and there were a ton of frame rate losses everywhere, and I've been playing on an Xbox Series X. So obviously they're not the best at fine-tuning the game. I mean, even a couple years later, Fallen Order still had a lot of issues. Now, this is going to be a next-gen only game, so hopefully they get all of the bug fixes and the frame rate issues fixed and patched out, but I'm still going to remain a little bit hesitant about that. So next up, I wanted to talk about some of the pros that all the reviews were talking about. I took notes and I watched all the reviews, and pretty much everyone seems to agree that this game is just a far better experience than Jedi Fallen Order. Jedi Survivor has way better customization. You can customize your outfits, you can customize the underneath parts of your outfits, you can customize your hair and your beards. You can even change the individual colors of your outfits so you can kind of mix and match and make your outfit look unique and different than everyone else's. The lightsaber customization has been completely overhauled, and it's a lot more detailed than it was in the previous game. But not only that, once you unlock the ability to access the blaster is fully customizable. You can swap out the parts and change your blaster at any point. So the fact that you can customize your very own blaster and make it whatever blaster you want is super cool to me, and I just love the fact that you can customize it the same way as your lightsaber. But not only has the customization gotten better, they've added a lot of quality of life improvements compared to the previous game. Every reviewer has praised the fast travel in this game compared to the previous game. In the last game, you had to walk everywhere, so if you were clear across the map, you couldn't just fast travel back to your ship. You had to travel throughout the entire environment just to make it back to your ship. Well, no more. In Jedi Survivor, the map has gotten a complete overhaul. You can now find different icons on your map telling you where to go, so it's not as easy to get lost as it was in Jedi Fallen Order. And the fast travel just makes it a way better experience from getting from point A to point B. Another quality of life change they made is that they've added a training dummy. The combat dummy is a great way to practice those new stances because there are 5 lightsaber stances in this game compared to the previous game. And then when it comes to the world building and the overall maps in the game, there are about the same amount of planets in Jedi Survivor as there was in Jedi Fallen Order. Every single planet is a brand new planet. You're not going to be going back to any of the previous planets from the last game, and every single planet is far bigger in scale compared to the last game. And then when it comes to boss fights, there are far more boss fights in Jedi Survivor than there was in Jedi Fallen Order. They've even added a feature to Jedi Survivor where you can go out and hunt bounty hunters. You're basically a bounty hunter for bounty hunters, and then once you kill enough of the bounty hunters, they will give you different currencies that you can use to upgrade your blaster. It also seems that the boss fights are a lot harder in Jedi Survivor than they were in Jedi Fallen Order. Every single review I saw said that the gameplay was a lot harder compared to the last game. So if you're a Souls type player or you just love hard boss fights, then you're definitely going to love Star Wars Jedi Survivor. I also want to mention that pretty much every YouTuber said that there was very little bugs and very little issues they had with the game, other than those technical issues with the frame rate loss. A lot of them said that they didn't even experience hardly any bugs at all, no glitches. The Star Bazaar said that he had some gameplay where some of the stormtroopers were sort of clipping into the environment.
There were a few instances of glitched out enemies and models phasing through the world, but it was very minimal, and it seemed more like freak accidents than anything else.
But other than that, this is a pretty bug-free game, so that's a huge plus. And then as for the game length, everyone was saying that the game can take anywhere from about 18 hours to 30 plus hours. It kind of just depends on what difficulty you have the game on and how many side missions and exploring you want to do. So if you want to put the game on an easy difficulty and just speed run through the main story, it's probably going to take you close to 18 to 20-ish hours, maybe a little faster than that. And then if you like to do a lot of exploring and taking your time and looking through everything, it can take you close to 30 hours. And Jedi Survivor is launching with New Game Plus, so if you beat the game and you want to go through a second time with all of your abilities already unlocked, you can go ahead and jump straight into New Game Plus. And then when you start New Game Plus, it's going to give you different lightsaber attachments in different colors that you can only unlock by starting a New Game Plus. So that is the rundown for Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Those are the good things and the bad things. Like I said, the only complaint complaint that people really had was the frame rate issues, and EA Star Wars has already said that they're working on fixing those. So fingers crossed that everything is fixed and there's very little performance issues by the time that the game actually releases. And I know I'm super excited to get my hands on the game, and I cannot wait to play it. So that is going to do it for everything in this video, guys. If you guys enjoyed it, then please give this video a thumbs up. Remember to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell for notifications. That way you guys don't miss out on anything Star Wars Jedi Survivor. I will have tons of gameplay videos going up here within the next couple days. So subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and that is going to do it for me, everyone. And I will talk to you all in the next video.